further on the legislation before us. Good morning, Senator Duff.
Good morning, Madam President. Madam President, I rise to support the emergency certified bill. Before I begin, though, I'd like to thank all those who worked so hard on the bill inside and outside the chamber, including a bipartisan legislative leadership in both houses, the bipartisan leadership of the Judiciary Committee, and especially those in the chamber, including Senator McCrory, Senator Moore, of course, Senator Winfield, the chair of our Judiciary Committee, Senator Looney for his leadership, the Senate Democratic Caucus and staff for their time and attention to a crucial piece of legislation. Also want to thank Senator Kissel for his work, Representative Safstrom, Representative Bimbis for their efforts as well. This country is at a crossroads, and this is a moment that we need to recognize and understand where we are. After the murder of George Floyd, we saw millions of people engage in a movement to recognize and respond to systemic racism, issues and injustices that have been occurring for decades and over centuries. Finally, people who have never been engaged in a political movement were marching for justice and against injustice. Old, young, white, black, brown, rich, and poor, folks from every corner of our state and our country. And as the late John Lewis said, this time is different. Marches occurred in places that they never have, not just in our cities, but in our suburbs and in our small towns. Homogeneous places that have never taken on political activism before. As policymakers, what we heard loud and clear is do something, not anything, but a meaningful policy moving the needle to fight injustice, racism, and hold accountable those with power. It's time to walk the talk. The Connecticut legislature got to work to make sure we continue to have the highest standards and that nothing like we saw in Minnesota and countless other states happens here. Let me be clear that in this process, no one ever spoke negatively about police or failed to recognize the hard work they do or how police have an important role in our communities. This is about recognizing the awesome power they have and creating policies that provide more confidence and fairness in our communities for all of our residents. And the product we have here this morning does the following. It creates better training and mental health screening for police officers. Will help bring more transparency and confidence to the public. Will make communities safer and raises the standards for police departments across the state. It is a significant piece of legislation that I predict will be a model for other states. Madam President, I'm proud of the fact that the legislation was crafted by the bipartisan leadership of the Judiciary Committee. And once the public hearing was complete, bipartisan leadership worked together with Judiciary leadership to address the concerns that were raised and work through a number of thorny issues. Unfortunately, though, there's some misinformation on parts of the bill, including qualified immunity. An officer, and let me just be clear on this, an officer will continue to have qualified immunity unless they commit an act that is either illegal or violates the state constitution, for which they did not have an objectively good faith belief did not violate the law. In my opinion, that is a high bar, and I don't see how anyone would want to defend an officer from being responsible for violating the law in such an extreme and egregious way. We don't want taxpayers to pay for intentional wrongdoing, and this bill ensures that. I know there are those who want nothing done, but that's not realistic. Our state and our country are demanding change. And this is a bill that will make a difference for our residents and let them know we have heard them. Some view this as a tough vote, and it might be. But a yes vote is the right vote. The opposition outside this chamber is vocal and loud. However, and people have heard me say this before, however, hard things are hard, and we are here to lead. We've done it before on other policy issues that had long debates over many hours. Let's lead tonight and show the rest of the country what leadership looks like. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Duff. Will you remark further?